Good afternoon. Let's begin today's lesson with our typical warm-up assignment. Page number 698, numbers 14, 16, 18, and 19. These will be using your sum and difference formulas for sine, cosine, and tangent. You can access these in chapter 6.2 of your textbook, or they're conveniently located in the back flap of your textbook. While you're working on these, if you will please turn in the sum and difference formula assignment on page 660. This was actually assigned on Thursday afternoon to be checked on Friday. If you would please turn those in now, I will grade them upon my return. And then continue to work on this warm-up assignment. Instructor will pause, give you a chance to work these 4 problems, and we will reconvene and we will look at the solutions for each one. Number 14, if you have your formula and your unit circle handy, then this becomes a very straightforward problem. Let's take a look at the next one. This one we are using the tangent formula, same method. The tangent formula is a little bit more complex. Mathematics are a little bit more tedious. Note in the numerator and in the denominator we have to do this subtraction by 1. Just make sure you have a common denominator after you simplify. After you combine and everything and reduce, you might get something that looks like this. And if you got that far, then you got the right answer. And in the back of the book, you may say, well, it says 2. Well, if you were to rationalize this denominator with a conjugate and simplify, then it would probably simplify to 2. And if you did that, that's great. I'm not too concerned about that. If you had root 3 minus 1 divided by 1 plus root 3, I'm satisfied that you did the problem correctly. Okay. Then let's take out our notebooks and let's proceed with today's lesson. We are continuing in chapter 6.2. Of course, after we look at the solution for problem number 18. My bad. The solution to number 19. Notice that these problems, when we work these backwards, are really very simple. Don't forget that once you simplify it down and plug into the formula, don't forget to evaluate, in this case, cosine of 60 or the sine of 30 on your unit circle. Now that we are proficient in using this computing the sum and difference formula, it's what we're going to do today. This is our new material for today. We're going to use the sum and difference formulas to verify trigonometric identities. Now I know y'all are probably groaning. You really thought we were through with trigonometric identities in chapter 6.1. But trust me, these are a lot easier. What we usually do in our trigonometric identities is we substitute, usually using sine, cosine, Pythagorean formulas, things like cotangent is equal to cosine divided by sine, our inverse formulas and things like that, and sort of simplify. This is actually a lot simpler. Let's work through an example and you'll see what I mean. Let's look at the left-hand portion of the formula here, or the verification that we have to do. Cosine A minus B. We know that we can substitute that term in using a difference formula. And that is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to take this numerator and we're going to substitute it with one of our difference formulas. Once that is completed, now we can just simply simplify this expression. Let's break it up. We'll have a common denominator. Let's then simplify each one of the pieces. And our simplification turns out to be equal to what's on the right-hand side of the equation. So this has been verified. I'd like you to practice one. Let's go to our textbook, page 656, checkpoint number 3. A very similar problem than the one we just worked as an example. Okay, a huge hint here. What are we going to do? Look at the numerator on the left-hand side. And what I want you to do is I want you to take this term, replace it with your cosine difference formula, simplify, and see if it will simplify down to the right-hand side of the equation. Okay, let's pause this playback for a little while, and I want you to do this problem and make sure that you can work it out correctly. Okay, let's see how this all worked out. There's the substitution with the difference formula. There's a common denominator. We can break it up into pieces, just like in the example problem. Some stuff should cancel out. And there we are. The left-hand term cancels out to make 1. Sine over cosine is tangent. Sine B over cosine B is tangent B. So the identity is verified. Let's do another example. This one has a couple of different little twists in it than the previous examples that we've done. First of all, we're in radians. That should not be a big issue. Now, something that might intimidate you a little bit is pi over 2 minus theta, or x, or z, or whatever, any variable, but it's an unknown. So what are we going to do? Well, it doesn't matter. When we use our sum and difference formulas, angle alpha will be pi over 2, angle beta will just be the variable theta. And we will just substitute this into our difference formula, just as if we knew what theta was equal. Okay, notice how we just carry the variable along. What is cosine of pi over 2? That's 1. What's the sine of, cosine of pi over 2 is 0. And sine of pi over 2 is 1. So, the left-hand term disappears. The right-hand term is just sine theta. And then we've verified this identity. Okay, if you will, please, let's do assignment on page 661, 9 through 31 on. I think you'll find that the examples that we've worked today will be very similar to the homework problems. And you may work together as much as you please, or I should say, you may collaborate together and help each other and get this assignment through. This assignment will be turned into the inbox tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll start off with a warm-up assignment over these problems, and then another lesson that should wrap up section 6.2, and that will happen tomorrow. Thank you.